Dare to be a Daniel, dare to stand alone, dare to have how many of you know that song? And given that I'm singing that song, you already know what I'm talking about. This is the normal program by Dr. Tina, the Inspire Me Spot. And when I'm talking about Inspire Me Spot, I usually focus on the Word of God. I'm going to talk about a topic that probably very few people would really want to talk about. And this is a topic that I've been thinking about since morning, because this song has been coming to me over and over and over again. So when I was asking myself, why this song? Why am I singing, dare to be a Daniel, dare to stand alone? I mean, why? As I've always said, when the why is clear, the how is easy. So when I got my answers to the why question, then I purpose to come and inspire someone in the Inspire Me Spot program. Now, let me just pass my greetings to you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Today, we want to talk about a quality that has the power to transform lives and make the impossible possible. And that quality is bravery. Yeah. And to explore it, we're going to look at some Bible character that is very prominent when we are teaching about courage, confidence, bravery. And guess who? Who is that character that I'm talking about? Someone has already started guessing. Yeah, maybe you're talking about Samson. Maybe you're talking about Joseph. Maybe Daniel. Maybe Esther, because I'm a lady. Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. Who is it? Well, I want to talk about David. King David. Yeah. And the moment I've mentioned King David, for those who are Christians and read the Bible, you already know what exactly I'm going to talk about. What part in King David's life I'm going to touch on. When we look at the history of the Bible, the history as the Bible puts it, King David's life as depicted in the Bible is a testament of extraordinary bravery. Perhaps the most famous story in his is actually his confrontation with Goliath. You know who Goliath was? We are talking of a giant warrior, not just a person, not just a warrior, a giant warrior who struck fear in the hearts of all Israelites. Now, how come David had the courage to go and face this giant Goliath and pull him down? That is something I want us to ponder on tonight or this morning. David, a young shepherd at that time, faced this giant, not with heavy armor or sophisticated weapons like what the giant had. He simply goes to war with a sling shot and 5 smooth stones. That is all that David had. And you know what? That was not just that. David also had this unshakable faith in God. His victory over Goliath is not just a tale of physical courage. It is about having a powerful example of moral and spiritual bravery that we are required to have as Christians, standing up for what is right, even when the odds are all against you. Yeah? Look at this shepherd, David. When he presented himself before the king and offered to go and fight Goliath, even the king was like, really? Okay, because you have said, just go. I mean, everybody knew, after all, David was going to die. Yeah? But David went against the odds with what he had. He didn't go, rather he didn't ask for sophisticated weapons to go and face Goliath. Because of course the king had all those weapons. But he just went, he himself and his God. David had sought the Lord in prayer before approaching Goliath. That is one thing I want you to remember, even as we are talking about bravery, that we cannot face situations that are challenging on our own physical strength. We cannot face the giants. We cannot face the Goliaths in our lives just like that. We need to put on the full armor of God. We need to seek the Lord in prayer before we go facing anything that is an uphill before us. In our lives, we may not literally face giants, but we encounter our own Goliaths. Challenges that seem so difficult, fears that loom large, situations where we feel outmatched, situations that may look like they are bigger than what we can do, situations that outnumber our courage. I mean, they are just beyond, they're just far much beyond what we can think about or do. It might be, for example, standing up for a just cause, facing a personal fear, or even making a tough decision that goes against the grain. In these moments, we can draw inspiration from David's example. His courage was rooted in his faith in God, not just in his physical strength. Yeah? If you look at David's moral conviction, he knew in his heart that because he had God, because God was in his side, he was going to win. Look at the words that he spoke when he was going to fight Goliath. Just to put confidence in everybody who was fearing that he was going to bring him down. Bravery does not always mean facing challenging situations as such, rather giants. Often, we find bravery in the quieter, everyday acts of resilience and determination. That activity that you're working on, that looks like you're not seeing the end of it, when you are on it over and over again, that is bravery. Many people simply give up very fast. But when you are there to work on that project until you see the results, that is what I'm talking about, bravery. Yeah? Speaking up for someone who is being treated unfairly. Stepping into a new role of responsibility. For example, if maybe you get a promotion in your workplace, and this is a position maybe that has just been left vacant and you don't know what to do, or you don't have the skills to do that particular role, that is what I'm talking about. When you feel like you are unprepared for a certain task, or even the simple act of staying true to your values in a world that is often challenging these values where we are. These are the modern acts of bravery. When you are able to say no to corruption, when you are able to say no to seeing other people mistreating others, saying no to wrong deeds. For example, your boss might bring documents to you and compelling you to sign them, regardless whether they are correct or not correct, just to favor him. You know, because of fear, you will find yourself just signing. But if you are able to say no, like I remember there's a time I had to say no. And because I said no, since that time I was hated. I was hated because I simply did not sign. I simply said, no, I will not sign. And whoever was sent went back and reported what I said, that she said she will not sign. Since that day, the kind of treatment I faced in that particular place where I was, oh my God. So that is what I'm talking about. Despite whatever the situation is, despite the repercussions, standing for the truth, purposing to be honest in every situation, that is what we are calling bravery. Yeah? Like David, we can face these situations not with fear, but with a steadfast heart and a firm belief of our values and capabilities. Each one of us has the capacity for such bravery. The key is not to let fear dictate our actions. When faced with challenges, ask yourself, what would I do if I wasn't afraid? And that gives you the first step towards succeeding. That is the first step towards being brave. And when you do it once, you do it twice, you do it thrice, your courage keeps on increasing and increasing. You become brave and brave and brave with time. You become a role model. Yeah? Somebody will say, if Christine was able to say no, I too can. Yeah? It doesn't matter what the repercussions are if what you are standing for is right. Just say no. We are in a world where corruption is actually the in thing, especially in, let me not be so biased, because where in the developing countries, like my home back home in Kenya, corruption is like, it is the in thing. You cannot jump one level to another before that corruption demonstrates itself. Meaning that the law is not really firm. The law of the land is not firm on matters to do with things to do with corruption. There are loopholes that allow people to be corrupt. But when you go to developed countries like Canada, rarely will you just see the loophole that here is the loophole, corrupt and get your way out. Yeah? Here, the law is working. So where the law doesn't work, such things will happen. And wherever you are, it is possible to get into situations that will compromise your faith, situations that will compromise your values. Just purpose and learn to say no and tell yourself, I'm ready for the repercussions. Just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego told the king, even if you throw us in there, that is in the den of lions. Was it the den of lions? Yes. No, the furnace, the fire furnace. Yeah, even if you put us there, we know God is able to deliver us. Even if He doesn't, we will not. That is the bravery I'm talking about. Yeah? As we go about our lives, let us carry with us this spirit of King David. Let his courage inspire us to face the challenges that come before us and purpose to say no when you are supposed to say no. Yeah? If it is doing something to please someone and at the end you hurt yourself, I'd rather you just say no. Yeah. You never know. When you become brave, God gives you another platform, a higher platform, because God has tested you in the lower things that bring fear. That is why eventually King David, let's say the shepherd David, eventually became King David. And right now, we can talk about King David as a legendary character in the Bible. He left some legacy. He left us a story to talk about. He gave us an example to follow. And if you look at King David, it's not like he was perfect. He had his own flaws. So when you purpose to be brave, to be courageous, to stand for what you know can work, or to stand for what you know is right, God will give you a better position or a better chance to serve Him at a higher level. No wonder you find people just getting promotions simply because they did one act of bravery and they are entrusted with more and more and more and more. So my friends, I want to encourage you today. It doesn't matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter the hurdle that is before you. It doesn't matter the environment in which you are working. What matters is, what are you doing with that circumstance? Are you brave enough to stand for the truth? Are you brave enough to stand for the values that we want our children to embrace? Because education for sustainable development has to do with us, the adults, role modeling. If I don't role model the values that I want my children to catch, how will they catch them? If we don't role model honesty, if we don't role model peace, if we don't role model, all these values that we are talking about, that we want our children to embrace, how will they? So sustainability calls for bravery. If you have to be successful in whatever you're doing, being resilient and being persistent and being on it until you get the results calls for bravery. So my friends, be brave. Remember to subscribe. Remember to just like. That will give me more strength to think about more content to give it to you. So the Inspire Me spot is basically from Bible encouragement texts that I bring to you so that you too can be inspired. I am blessed to be a blessing. Have a nice time, and I hope you remain brave. Bye. Dare to stand alone. Dare to be a Daniel. Dare to stand alone.